Okay, folks, I need you to buckle up because this one is going to be a little bit of a departure from what you're used to hearing me from, okay? And I'm going to ask you to do something that might be difficult, might make you uncomfortable. I need you to open your mind. Just think about this possibility. What if we've all been had? What if everything we've been led to believe isn't exactly what it seems, okay? Now stick with me. Don't scroll out of here now. I'll walk you through this conspiracy theory, and I promise you, you might just start seeing things a little bit differently. Okay, let's take it back to the beginning of 2008. Barack Obama is elected president, and many, well, they saw it as a sign of a hope and change, and a new chapter, they said. But as Obama settled into office, we saw the seeds of something darker being sown. Over the next 8 years, the political climate in America, well, it shifted dramatically, and Obama pushed policies that seemed to drive a wedge between Americans, making the us versus them narrative more pronounced. Transgender rights, bathroom laws, racial tensions, and suddenly things that were once settled or just were never a thing became battlegrounds. And these divisions, well, they were getting worse. And here's the kicker. Was this all a grand design? Was Obama merely setting the stage for what was about to come? Do you remember that moment when Obama was asked in an interview, I think it was Stephen Colbert, about the possibility of running for a third term?
If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
You know, at the time, it was a joke, right? But what if it wasn't? What if it was a subtle hint at what was to come? A puppet president and someone pulling the strings from the shadows. Fast forward 2016, Donald Trump. This guy, once a Democrat himself, was now leading a Republican charge that nobody saw coming. He ran on a platform of Make America Great Again. That sounds wonderful, right? Promising to take on the establishment. But here's the twist. Trump, a man with his own agenda, well, he was still part of the system. Despite the rhetoric, his ability to fully disrupt was limited. The system was just too powerful, too ingrained. You know, Trump had his moments of defiance, no doubt, but the deep state, as some call it, it had its claws in everything. He didn't have full control of the House, the Senate, and despite his promises, his hands were often tied, and a lot of the chaos that we saw, well, a lot of the pushback from the media and the institutions were just symptoms of a system trying to keep its grip. The message to the American people was clear. While Trump seemed like the hero, the war was far from over, and the establishment, both Democrats and Republicans, maybe they were in on it. The populace, they were weary. They were disillusioned, but they found solace in the familiar, a return to perceived stability. Trump, with his bold promises and anti-establishment persona, offers a sense of hope to them. But, you know, as his tenure unfolds, it becomes evident that even he is not immune to the same invisible constraints, and the grand narrative of division, it marches on. Now let's talk about Joe Biden, the 2020 election. It rolls around, and, well, Biden is installed as president. I say installed, I picked these words specifically, right? Okay, the country is desperate for a return to normalcy after 4 years of Trump. Biden, he was supposed to be the healer, the one who could unite America once again. But instead, we saw an explosion of division. Biden's administration quickly became a puppet show. The signs were clear. He was no longer the man in charge, but a figurehead in the White House. His cognitive lapses were undeniable, and the rapid rise of executive orders, particularly in the first months of his presidency, only confirmed the sense that someone else was pulling the strings, and the country was at risk. The border was a mess. Foreign policy was a disaster. Inflation was out of control. And it was as if the country was being pushed to the brink. Biden signed executive orders that changed the fabric of the nation. Policies on healthcare, the economy, immigration, and climate that were sweeping, but ultimately seemed disconnected from any real leadership. Could it be that Biden wasn't really in charge? Could Obama, who had suggested using a puppet president, be the one still guiding the ship? Now, we skip ahead to 2024. Donald Trump is back, running for president once again. But this time something shifted. The stage has been set for his return. The groundwork laid by Obama's policies, Trump's own chaotic years in office, and the Biden's puppet-like leadership has paved the way for what will come in January 2025. And when Trump takes office, something massive happens. In the first few months of his presidency, he signs hundreds of executive orders, yes, hundreds, implementing sweeping changes that would have been impossible without everything that came before it. So what's the big deal with all these executive orders, you ask? Well, these orders allowed Trump to make massive changes to the country in a matter of days. Immigration policies changed. Foreign policy rewritten. Economic plans reversed. But here's the thing. These orders wouldn't have been possible if we hadn't seen the erosion of traditional political structures, the division caused by Obama and the instability under Biden. The groundwork was laid in those early presidencies where the country was reshaped in ways that paved the way for what we're seeing right now. Trump's ability to move this quickly, to sign these orders and alter the nation's trajectory, is only possible because of the massive shifts that we've seen over the last decade. The groundwork laid under Obama, the chaos of Trump's first term, and Biden's weak and puppet-like leadership, it all led to this moment. The country was primed for change, but not just any change. The change that Trump is now ushering in with these orders, changes that no one could have predicted, but that makes sense given what happened before, what came before. Now, I know this is a lot to digest. I get it. But I want you to think about it just for a minute. Could it be that we've all been had? That everything from the rise of Obama to the chaos under Trump to the puppet-like leadership of Biden has been part of a larger design? You know, we've been told one story, but maybe it's time to open our eyes and consider there's another narrative that we haven't been told, that we haven't considered. You know, let me know what you think, okay, in the comments, right? This is just a thought experiment. But if it's true, we've all been played, my friends. Don't forget to do all the things. If this button is glowing up here, I'm live, so come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's go!